Nice, cloudy as hell day today. Which is interesting because on days like this, I kind of get fatigue. I've heard from reading over time that it's something about the changing pressures and pressure systems and can change the pressure on your brain a little bit. They say the best thing to do is just drink a bunch of water. Um, yeah, but I get a little more fatigue, I get a little more introspective, a little more heady. And I've had a habit recently when I've gone into this mode of just listening to old music and such and just looking back at things. Nostalgia's it's a fun little devil sometimes. Um, but in doing this, I've started getting a retrospective look at college as I leave this segment of my life, and it's interesting. Um, I wonder where we've all ended up since we started. Um, I know that for me, it's I find it intriguing at least how in some ways I ended up similar areas. In terms of the friend thing that I brought up before, I've came in without much and then left without much. Really, it's kind of been the same, but at the same time, I've found a wonderful girlfriend. I've gained all these amazing experiences, and like I feel that's been a big, massive outlook change. Like the way I think and the way I see things has definitely changed. Um, so I feel a lot of the growth has been internal, but at the same time, if you look at it, um, besides some weight gain and being able to be in a finally living with someone amazing and such, my external changes, tattoos, uh, but really besides that, the external changes haven't been as much. Knowledge changes, um, very suspicious of politics, which poli sci plus government stuff will definitely do to you. I will say that. Um, like I wonder if we're like looking back mostly through Facebook because I haven't kept tabs with a lot of the people that I've interacted with, but like where we've all ended up from where we started on this. Um, what did we gain? What did we learn about these experiences, and where are we going to be going in our life from this? Um, maybe it's because I tend to think like that. I tend to analyze things like I'm the person who's at a midlife crisis before my midlife multiple times, staring back, being like, "What am I doing? What am I contributing?" And I've said I feel like I've done a decent amount now. Like now, I feel like the old man looking back, being like, I've settled down with what I've done. But I'm still gonna do some more stuff. But it's just it's strange, weird thing especially at my age, to look so close. They say that history is something that really has to be looked upon with years to to give you a sense of how things turned out. So I think that like me looking back, senior year, seeing the effects of college is not a great thing to do. I don't think we fully established where we're gonna end up and where the people I've been around, how they've done and how they've been affected by it. But times like this, it's definitely definitely. I almost forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, I guess to end this one off clearly, I think it's valuable every now and then just to like look back at these things. I think you got to be careful, of course, because nostalgia tends to breed regret a lot. Um, when you start looking back at how things were, one of two things tends to happen. Either one, you miss the memories and you try to find ways to bring them back in. I'm guilty of this for how the movie room that I've created looks. There's a lot of things there from my childhood that I've yanked in here, which it's cool because it creates a nice aesthetic look over time. You do end up buying things, so that's not the best in some situations. But the other one I say is regret, which we got to be careful of because when you start looking back at the past, at times you start wondering about what things you could have fixed in hindsight with the stuff that you know now, what things you should have done differently that would have changed. And I think that this is, besides being an effort and futility, it just makes you feel bad in a way that it necessarily shouldn't. Well, yes, it's good to admit to the faults that you had back then and that how you've improved. Saying that things would have been better if you had done something different is iffy because you don't know how things would have turned out. There's no guarantee that like the things that you would have changed would have actually made things extremely better. Yeah, there's some cases where it's likely, but we are where we are now, and we got to make do with that. So, way I've seen it, through all the problems and faults and mistakes I've made in my lifetime, just by keep pushing and keep on going and just never giving up that last glimpse of hope, I've just always ended up on a path that's surprised myself, and I can accept that. I I'm happy where I'm at and where I'm going and where I'm going to continue to go, and never gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep pushing through. Stagnancy is a rotting cesspool. Complacency is stagnation. Just don't stop. Keep going. Keep pushing through, and one day you'll look back at it and be surprised where you got yourself. So yeah, that's today. Thanks.